Security Secretary Kristi Noem says that ICE and DHS are taking the family of Mohammed Solomon into custody. We also have new video of the attack and a warning that some may find these images disturbing. It appears to show the suspect throwing Molotov cocktails, we're having trouble, there it is, at the demonstrators. Federal authorities say the suspect told them he had planned the attack for a year and says he has, quote, no regrets. Joining us now, NBC News national law enforcement and intelligence correspondent Tom Winter. Is it common to take a family into custody of a person suspected of even a heinous crime like this one?
So we've seen several instances where family members have been taken into custody. Catherine Russell, who is the wife of Tamerlan Tsarnaev in Boston, for instance, we saw charges filed against Omar Mateen. He was the person who actually was responsible for that mass shooting at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando. She was acquitted by a federal jury and as a result of her trial. So we have seen this in the past. Given the immigration questions surrounding the family, or at least the questions raised by DHS and members of law enforcement, that it would seem that they might have reason to pick them up for that reason. It is also possible they could be charged later. It's possible that they had nothing to do with it and they will be released from custody at some point. We just don't have all the details at this point. In the statement from Secretary Noem announcing that the wife and the 5 children were taken into custody, you're looking at it right there. That's the extent of it. So we don't have a lot of details as to why that happened.
Do we usually get like a charging document before this when we see arrests like this?
It depends, though. If it's an immigration issue, it's not. We don't have access to immigration courts. That's one of the big challenges. I mean, it's something I've brought up with the Justice Department in the last administration, something that's been raised in the current administration. We have no access to immigration courts, so I can't tell you the status of somebody, whether or not they have a valid asylum claim, where they are, and no reporter can. It's just not something that's open to the public. So we always put an asterisk around it that we have to rely on what officials are telling us about that. Thinking back to this time yesterday, Katie, we've learned a lot more about this. One of the things I was talking to you about was, they were trying to determine whether or not he was dressed as a gardener, as a worker, because you were asking me, why could he get so close to this group? He's somebody who kind of appears to stick out. According to the affidavit for the state charges in Colorado, that's exactly what he was dressed up as. And we know that now from eyewitnesses as well as his own statements. He says that his family doesn't know anything about it, to the topic we were just discussing. He says that he could not live with himself if he did not carry out this attack, allegedly, according to those documents. But he says that he wished he died himself. One of the questions I think we've been having is, why did he stop with the 2 Molotov cocktails? Because they found over a dozen there. He's got this backpack kind of what would normally be a weed sprayer, which you try to turn into a blowtorch. As a flamethrower. And so you're looking at some of the things that are images of the types of things that were recovered at the scene. Apparently, he says once he threw the first 2 Molotov cocktails and saw the injuries that resulted, that gave him pause from continuing. Of course, then he made a number of statements at the scene, and according to these charging documents, made a number of statements to law enforcement, professing the reason why he did this attack, that it was a result of what's been going on in Gaza, and that he wanted to end the Zionists effectively. In his words, is what he says. One thing that, some additional detail from what was found inside the car, they found the cans of gasoline, rags, we talked about that a little bit yesterday, and a copy of the Quran, again, all according to the Colorado charging documents.
Yeah, I was struck by watching the video. He was standing there with all that stuff and still yelling at people and not using any more of it. It is, I guess, striking to hear that maybe the initial attack gave him pause, even